Thank you so much to Card Market for sponsoring today's video.
Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. My name is Filipa and today I'm going to give you my tips and tricks on how to save money on Arena. This can be good if you're a free-to-play player or not. I, for example, right now spend money on Arena. Once upon a time I was a free-to-play player, but I draft too much to be a free-to-player now and I'm not good enough. But still, I think this can be useful. These are things that I've learned over the years. Sometimes people just commented on my streams because I was not doing it right. Things that I wish that I knew before. Some of these are pretty obvious and you might know, but still stick to the end because you might not know all of them just because some are obvious and I still want to share because it might be somebody that doesn't know here watching the video. Let me know in the end in the comments if you knew all of these, if there's some tips that I didn't mention that you know. I want this video to be more of a casual video, so please, like, this is not like a book on how exactly all the perfect things you can do. It's just the ones that I know. I just don't feel like making standard content right now because we are a couple of days from the early access for Final Fantasy, so I just don't want to be playing standard in these momentum where everyone is waiting for the next set. So I decided to make this video because it's something that I've been thinking for a while, and basically we are just friends chatting, sharing our knowledge, and I'm going to be sharing with you things that I wish I knew before. Starting with a previous obvious one, but if you can, swap your daily. Right now I already did my swap for the day, and try to not do what I do where I have 3 at the same time. Try to always do your dailies. That's obvious. That's how you can get free money in the game. I just don't always have time, but try to do your dailies, try to get your quests and swap them. Once a day you can swap one. My best advice is to swap a 500 gold one for you to try to get a 750. That way, if you can get 750 gold is obviously way better than 500. Those are the two amounts that you can get in your dailies. So that's going to be my tip number 1, and I think that's a pretty basic one. Another one that most of you know is that sometimes when you go to the store, there's daily deals. So these are the deals. And once upon a time, Arena does this thing where they either give you free gems, free gold, or they give you a discounted draft. So all of those I advise you to do. The discounted pack, I don't know, it might be worth it if you were going to buy the pack anyway, but for me it is not worth it, just because I have all the cards because I draft so much. But yeah, that's going to be my next tip is every day these refreshes once a day. It depends on the time zone that you are, so I'm not going to give you a specific time zone, but once a day they are going to reset. Make sure that you don't miss one, and that way you can get for sure all the value. Another thing here where you see redeem code, my advice, now they give you the things here through inbox, but before they used to give you these codes where you could put, for example, play a certain set and you would get 3 packs of that set. I don't know if they do that yet or if it's expired, but you can always Google free packs Arena and they'll give you a bunch of codes. Another thing is that when you go to pre-release, you get 6 boosters and they give you like a code. So my advice is that you can try to get some of your friends that goes to multiple pre-releases to give you their codes, and even sometimes online people are giving it, so make sure you try to look for those because they can also give you quite a bit of packs, and I think that's a decent tip. My third tip is pretty specific because this is for people that do play the Arena Open. The Arena Open is a quite expensive event where you can make up to $2,000, but again, it's quite expensive, and you have 2 types of entry fees usually, 25,000 gold or 5,000 gems, and it's better to enter with gold because 25,000 gold lets you do 2.5 drafts if you think about it, because each draft is 10,000 gold, but with the 5,000 gems, you can actually do 3 drafts and a bit because each draft is 1,500 gems. So the ratio from gold to gems just makes more sense if you're going to play the Arena Open to enter with gold. So save your gold for the Arena Open and spend your gems on draft. Even though it never feels good to spend your gems because they feel more valuable on drafts, do it if you're going to play the Arena Open. Hopefully that makes sense. My fourth tip is again a very specific one for European players, and I don't know if this happens for people in other countries or not, but where I am in Europe, we use the euro as the currency, and when you go to buy in the store to buy gems, which I do. This is not for the free-to-player people. As you can see, 20,000 gems is 106 euros and 99 cents. But if you buy it in your iPad or Apple device, I don't know if it's the same for Google devices because I only have an iPhone, it's actually 99.99. So even if you're buying less gems, it's still less expensive. So just saying that I usually buy gems on my iPad. I don't know why it's less expensive that way, but it is. So my recommendation is that if you're in Europe, make sure that you check the prices both on your iPhone or your phone, I guess, or in your computer, and see if there's a difference in price or not. And I don't know if it's the same for people in America, Canada, Brazil, let me know, but make sure you check just in case, because if it's the same case as in Europe, you might be saving some money by buying in your phone or iPad. So that's my fourth tip, I think. My fifth tip is actually one tip that is very useful for people that open packs and draft, and I didn't know until quite recently, is that when a new set begins, I always craft the commons and uncommons of that set before I start opening packs or drafting. As you can see, I have a bunch of commons and uncommons wild cards. I'm assuming that if you're not new to the game, you will also have a lot of commons and uncommons. And in that case, what you can do is that when new set releases, you're going to craft 4 of each common, 4 of each uncommon. And that way, once you start opening packs or drafting, your vault progress is going to increase way faster because it recognizes that you already have the commons and uncommons of that set. So that's a tip for your vault progress to go faster and for you to be able to claim those sweet mythic and rare wild cards faster. Now, the thing is that it might be quite annoying to be manually adding each common and uncommon for each set that releases, I know. One thing is that I usually Google or go on Reddit because some people do this work somewhere, like MTG Goldfish or something, and then they share the list as a deck. That way you just import the deck and you craft all the commons and uncommons that are there, and that's done. And now all your packs will give you even more value. That's one that I didn't know and has definitely advanced my collection quite a bit and makes me very happy because now I'm always advancing the collection, getting my vault progress faster than ever. My sixth tip, I hope I'm not skipping, but I think not, is if you have the chance and if you are able to save your gems somehow and you play MTG Arena almost every day, you should get the Mastery Pass. It will definitely be worth it. The prices that you get are way better than the money that you pay for it. It costs 3,400 gems, but it's definitely worth your money back if you're playing Arena on a consistent basis. Another thing that you can do is that you don't need to buy it on the first week of the new set. You can wait and see how much you play of that set, and after a month you can buy and see everything that you get so far. They will get you all the rewards that you've won, so you don't have an incentive to buy it right away. You can just wait, and once it's worth it you can buy it or do it however you want. But yeah, for me definitely it is worth it just because it gives you one draft token for free, it gives you a bunch of packs, it gives you gold, it gives you gems. So if you're going to be playing Arena, that's a thing that you should for sure invest in, and you don't have to pay to get gems. You can start by accumulating gold. With gold, enter events like draft events, get some gems with it because the draft rewards are gems, and then use those gems to get the Mastery Pass. Tip number 7, and honestly, I hope I'm not messing up with the numbers, but this one is for the draft players. I'm a draft player at heart, and I was not doing this for so long, and then somebody mentioned, and I still have a bit of trouble of doing it, but for the people that play mainly draft, of course, if you're a constructed player or you play both, it might be a bit more difficult to do, is to save the packs from a new set until you collect all the rares and mythic rares of that set. Because if you collect all the mythics and rares while you are drafting and you do not open your packs, once you have those rares and mythics collected over certain sets, so for example, I have all the rares and mythics of Tarkir Dark and Storm, now I'm going to be opening the boosters, and instead of getting the rares or mythics, I get gems instead. I get 20 gems for rare that I already have, and I get 40 for a mythic that I already have. So get those gems because it's the best currency in the game. Make sure that you optimize things, and I've been victim to just playing draft so much while I'm opening the same rares and mythics, and then I'm opening the packs and I'm getting more cards, and then eventually it's just not worth it, and I'm just getting repeated cards in my drafts that I already collected via booster packs, and yeah, you're just not getting as much bang for your buck. Even though you do get some vault progress, is not as good as getting those gems. So that's my tip for all the draft lovers. Tip number 8, and this one is a very obvious and totally optional, but is that if you want to get the most bang for your buck, and if you're like a new player and you want to get better on the game and you have limited resources, I wouldn't buy cosmetics, because cosmetics don't really advance you into the game. They don't make your decks better. It's just to visually look better, as it says cosmetics, but they don't really make your decks better. They don't make you win more games. So I wouldn't buy anything that doesn't make me win more games. Now, I'm in a phase at the game where I do buy some cosmetics if I really enjoy them, but I'm totally aware that when I started playing, sometimes I would be like, oh, this is just, for example, let's go this daily deal. This cosmetic is only 900 gold. I have 900 gold and I wouldn't have, for example, 5,000 gold to draft. So I'll be like, okay, I'll just get a cosmetic instead. But then I realized that, well, that cosmetic didn't do much for me, right? So I could have just saved that 900 gold until I have 5,000 gold to draft, and I would have just drafted. Okay, so this is my tip number 9, and this one might also be not super current anymore, because I'm not sure how this mythic pack works, but when there was no mythic packs around and just based on normal packs, it is more worth to draft than to just open packs. So instead of spending money on buying packs, I would just draft that set if it's available. For example, let's see here the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. And the prices are the same for every set, I think. So we have one pack costs 1,000 gold or 200 gems. So let's keep that in mind, 1,000 gold or 200 gems. Now let's go to the quick draft of Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So instead of buying 3 packs for 3,000 gold, I can save 5,000, which is 2 more thousand gold, and I will enter a draft. But entering the draft gives you already 3 packs, which is great, where you can even choose cards. So sometimes you can even try to choose cards in the colors that you're trying to open, even for uncommons, and sometimes people are passing rares, so you can even rare pick if you want, or you can just try to build the best deck that you are capable and try to win the more games. But worst case scenario, you go 0 wins. You go 0-3, and in that case you get the 3 packs plus 1 pack reward and 50 gems. Yeah, you're losing 150 gems because you're getting 4 packs for 5,000 gold, and 1 pack is 200 gems, so you're only getting 50 back for the last pack, let's say. But still, if we go ahead and we see like a 3-3, which is fairly reasonable, right? Average. So for 3 you get 300 gems and 1 pack. In that case, you're getting 100 more gems than you would in the other way. I don't know if this makes sense, because basically you can get these 300 gems back. You can buy 1 pack for 200 gems, then you'll have the 5 packs and you'll have 100 gems change. I don't know if that math makes sense, but basically if you go 3-3 in the draft, it's already worth it. And if you go 2-3 in the draft, that's exactly the same. So, 2-3 doesn't seem too difficult. You already is the same as opening the packs, and I'm not even talking about the chance that you have of going 7 wins, which honestly it might happen, and you get 950 gems and 2 packs. So that's another tip that I have. Don't open packs if quick draft is available. Make sure to draft. It will also improve your skill in the game, so it's another way that you have to explore new formats, and yeah, that can save you also some money. And Tip number 10 and my final tip is to start with budget decks. If you go on MTG Goldfish, they have quite a bit of budget decks, and even if you go on YouTube and you try to find arena budget decks, just commons and uncommons, very few rares and mythic rares, try to find those just to see what kind of style you like. This is for new players, of course, and after that you can commit into getting a standard deck. And within that same line is that finally, when you decide on getting your standard deck, your first deck that you're going to play with, and this is for standard in specific because formats like historic don't rotate, so it's a bit different. But for standard in specific, make sure that when you're buying a deck, when is the next rotation going to happen and what cards are going to rotate out. That's to make sure that you're not spending so many wild cards on a deck when you just want to play standard, and then half of those cards are going to rotate in the next rotation set. So standard rotates out once a year. There's a couple of sets that go out of standard and are no longer legal in the format. So a mistake that some people do is that, for example, right now we are in June, they craft a deck and then they realize that in September the deck is no longer playable, no longer viable. So make your research in terms of, okay, finally I've decided this is the kind of gameplay that I like. Let's check a couple of decks that are in this gameplay that I like, and let's see if they're going to be rotation proof. So that's a big one for newer players. And I don't know if I forgot something, but I think those are the tips that I have to give you. I'm sure there's more tips that I don't know, but yeah, this is just the things that I've learned. Some of them pretty basic, but that have helped me build my collection to where it is now. I have all the cards. I also, once again, I want to emphasize, I'm not a free-to-player player, but I was in the past. So just some things that helped me spend less money on Arena. I hope you like this. It was a bit random, maybe a bit all over the place. I don't know, it's my first time doing something like this. Hopefully you can take some benefit out of that. Some of these tips were for newer players, some for drafters only, some were more for European players only. So hopefully some of you that took at least one useful tip out of this. I hope so. Otherwise, I hope you still enjoyed to watch me yap about Magic. That's it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know. I'm going to pin the comment that I think has the best tip that I didn't say here, so make sure to give your favorite economy arena tip that I didn't mention on the video. That's it, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.